This week, we recap Drew Estate's IPCPR lineup and the first Connecticut Shade from another company and the first Candela for yet another company. All that and more, so stay tuned. Welcome, everyone, to Stogie Geeks News. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian, broadcasting live from G Unit Studios in Rhode Island, where I've got plenty of cigars and coffee ready for my podcast marathon this afternoon, which kicks it off with Stogie Geeks News. Will Cooper is on the lines via Skype from North Carolina. Welcome, Will.
Hey, Paul, and I don't have any cigars or coffee with me right now, which is a problem.
Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem. I lined up. I actually just put it on Twitter, all my cigars and coffee, and I'm ready. So
wow, there you go. You're set.
I'm excited to talk about Drew Estate at IPCPR. I haven't seen any of the new releases. Like, I haven't held them in my hand. I'm sure as we talk about it, I'm going to be even more anxious to smoke some of their new releases.
Yeah. As am I. But there was a lot that's kind of happened over at IPCPR. So I guess we'll kind of kick it off with Undercrown. So as far as Undercrown goes, there are 3 new line extensions that have come to both the Undercrown and the Undercrown Shade line. They're introduced a 7x48 Churchill. They've introduced a 6x50 Toro that's going to be in a Tubo offering. And not to be outdone, there is also a 4x32 tin offering of smaller kind of, I don't want to say cigarillos, but I'll say small cigars in these 10-count tins right now.
And those are in both the regular Undercrown and the Shade?
They're both in the regular Undercrown and the Shade.
Gotcha.
Yep. So, and all these things we're talking about, they should be making their way to retailers variously across the country right now. So I think some of this stuff you'll start to see. The tubes, definitely check out some of the tubes. They're beautiful tubes they've put out there.
Oh, and they're doing a Tubo release in the Undercrown?
Yeah, that's the 6x50 Toro.
Oh, wow.
So the 6x50 Toro in Undercrown and Undercrown Shade, all 3 of these sizes, the Churchill, the Undercrown, the Churchill, the Tubo, and the tins are both for Undercrown and Undercrown Shade.
I haven't seen the Connecticut in a tube in a while. Davidoff makes a lot of the Connecticut in the tube, but I don't see a whole lot recently. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I just haven't seen what's out there, but that'd be an interesting kind of search, Will.
You know, you just got me thinking. I haven't seen, except for Davidoff. I'm trying. I can't think of one at the top of my head right now. But
all right, so I'm not. The Cigar Encyclopedia can't think of one. Then
we did a show on Tubos too, and I'm trying to remember what we did.
I don't think there was any Connecticut's in there.
Yeah. Wow.
No, that's good. That's really cool. I like that because it's kind of funny. Will, like when I leave for work in the morning, or if you're going somewhere in the morning, like going golfing. Having a Connecticut, like a milder cigar in a Tubo, is actually a really useful thing. I had a Connecticut. It was actually Paul Joyle's Petit Corona. It was in my pocket this morning. And that's typically what I smoke on my way in. And it would be kind of nice to have something in a Tubo to protect it, as I'm, putting in my pocket or my bag or whatever going out to my car. Just kind of a weird logistic thing, but...
I'll reuse, like, if I have a Corona cigar, like I want to take something small and I know I'm going to be outside, I'll reuse a Tubo and I'll put like a 5x42 or something in there. And Yeah. I mean, usually I'm just taking it out for the day usually with that, so I don't have to worry too much.
Cool. What else from Drew Estate, Will?
A new Herrera Esteli. Now, here's what's interesting about this Herrera Esteli. It's being made in Miami at El Titan de Bronze, which is now Herrera Esteli is Willie Herrera's line. Interesting is Willie Herrera goes back home for this cigar. He's actually working on this cigar. He worked on this cigar at El Titan de Bronze. One size, a 5 3/8 by 48 Vitola. So I guess you could say it's a short Churchill. Consists of a Habano Oscuro wrapper, an Ecuadorian Sumatra binder, and a combination of Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers. 10-count boxes. Important thing to know, it's small batch. So because El Tita de Bronze small factory, so this is a very small release that's coming out, but it's one I think you can get your hands on. It's not going to be impossible to get your hands on it.
And this is an entirely new blend.
Entirely new blend.
That's cool.
Yeah, entirely new blend, and its significance is not being drawn at Drew Estate, which has factory down in Nicaragua.
Very cool.
Yep. Now here's another one, Paul. Deadwood. Okay, Deadwood tobacco.
Is this like
This is
Deadwood, South Dakota, or?
this is Deadwood. This is Deadwood, South Dakota. And Drew Estate has done some cigars for a South Dakota retailer called Deadwood Tobacco.
Hmm.
They in tip their names of three women: Sweet Jane, Fat Bottom Betty, and Crazy Alice. I had
I
smoked the
love it.
Sweet
Wow,
Jane,
those look awesome.
and not only that, they are really. I've had the Sweet Jane. Really, really good kind of vanilla-ish type of flavored.
Hmm.
Just it's a really good quality product. Well,
Well,
they've
is it
taken it.
is it a flavored cigar, or you just got some vanilla notes?
No, it's a flavored cigar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's infused. Is I guess
Yeah,
the best
yeah,
way to put
and
it.
I like Drew Estate's infused cigar, so
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think you're really gonna like these, Paul.
I like the
Three.
Fat Bottom Betty. Is that the like triangle looking one?
That is the Crazy Alice
The
is
Crazy Alice. I gotcha.
yeah, yeah. So there are three sizes. There's Sweet Jane, the 5x46, the Fat Bottom Betty, which is a 5x54, and then that kind of pyramid,
Mm.
weird pyramid triangle, like you said, is Crazy Alice, 4.5x46. I think this was a brilliant move by Drew Estate because
And these are
these
all infused, Will? Sorry.
they're infused.
All three of them, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. And they are in stores. In fact, my retailer has all three of them already. And like I said, I've
Nice.
smoked these in the past. For flavors, are really good.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to try those.
Yep.
In Kentucky
Um,
Fire Cured.
yeah, and this was news that was broken on Stogie Geeks like a year ago. When Jonathan Drew was kind of showcasing some of these KFC candelas.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember that now.
yeah. And he held up two in his hand. One was an all candela wrapper, and the other one was like candela on the bottom, and then towards the cap it had a natural wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
And they've kind of gone with that latter one, that two-tone one,
Mm-hmm.
and they've created a series of three vitolas, and they're calling it Kentucky Fire Cured Swamp. And there's either a Swamp Rat, which is a 6x46 Corona, and there's something else called the Swamp Thang, which is in two sizes. The Swamp Thang is a 5x54 and a 6x52 Toro. They're not talking
I
too
love
much.
Jonathan's infusion of language from different cultures and
Yeah,
genres in there, right? That's awesome.
yeah, you can see him saying that's a Swamp Thang.
Yeah, you can definitely picture that.
Yeah, somehow I don't think there was. I mean, maybe I'm taking creativity away from someone who came up with these names, but
Right.
somehow I do believe Jonathan signed off on these.
But now, is this a double wrapper, or does
It's
it is a double wrapper?
It is a double wrapper, so
Okay.
it's candela on the lower part, and then the upper part is a natural wrapper. So,
But now, so the natural wrapper doesn't go all the way to the foot.
no.
Okay, I got you.
So
I was wondering if they
basically,
put like a wrapper over the candela over the natural wrapper, but what you're saying is it's just the candela wrapper, then it transitions to just the natural wrapper.
yeah, I'll call it a segmented wrapper. So
Okay.
below the band is candela, and above the band is natural.
Gotcha.
And of course, it has Kentucky Fire Cured. So what's funny is I think candela and Fire Cured are very polarizing flavor profile. But I guarantee a lot of people are going to try this cigar, at least
Yeah,
out of curiosity.
then like I said, when Jonathan was talking about it on the show, I want to try that just because it'd be interesting to see how those flavors come together, and it could be like you said, fire cured is a great one to have with a Bloody Mary. So I'll definitely experiment with this one with a Bloody Mary in the morning.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. We got more. Liga Privada has also added tubos in the number 9 and the T52. So there are 6x52 offerings in those sizes. So if you kind of the tubos, I've seen them floating around for a few years internally at Drew Estate, but now apparently they're being released they're being released, and basically it looks like they're going to be sold in 6-count samplers, and it will have 3 number 9 tubos and 3 T52 tubos.
Oh, I like that.
Yep. They're also re-releasing, and this has already started hitting the stores, some number 9 and T52 Flying Pigs. So they haven't released these. I don't think there's been a T52 Flying Pig release in 6 years, and I don't think there's been a number 9 Flying Pig release in 7 years. So this is significant. And they're also released a limited amount of a size called of a cigar, called the Velvet Rat, which we gave a whole bunch of those away on Stogie
Yes.
Geeks. One of our biggest contests ever. 6.5 by 42 Liga Privada. Very unique blend with that one.
I really liked the number 9 Flying Pig when it first came out. I found it didn't age well. Like it not that it was bad when it aged, but I liked it the best when it first came out.
Totally agree with you on that. And I think the T52 was kind of the opposite. I thought it did build some nice age on
and get better with age. Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree with you on that. Yep. So, and of course, not to be outdone, there's been other flying pigs, and they announced a new flying pig, which is the Underground Shade flying pig. So now
that's going to be really interesting to see how because that's a completely different blend and a completely different wrapper. I mean, it's a Connecticut, right? Even in a totally different profile than the number 9 of the T52. So it'd be interesting to see what that blend will do in a flying pig size.
Yep, and now it's the 6th flying pig that's come out. So they have the number 9, the T52, the feral flying pig, the Kentucky fire cured flying pig, and of course now the Underground and now the Underground Shade. So
they rounded out. They got a whole fleet of flying pigs now.
Yep. So quite a bit. Drew Estate was very active, to say the least, at IPCPR. So definitely a lot to look forward to. And from what I'm seeing, I think there's stuff they held back a little from IPCPR. You'll start to see in the next year as well. So I think there's plenty of stuff we'll be seeing.
Cool. So we got some other news from a couple of other companies as well.
Yeah. And these are one of them actually. I was a company, Matilde, Jose Sayas's company. This was a cigar he didn't have at IPCPR, but on my way to Cuba, I stopped at Smoke Inn, and I happened to see this cigar on the shelf there. And actually, I have one of these coming your way as well because I was able to get a few of these. Sweet. It's Matilde has a Connecticut shade called the Serena, and it's their first Connecticut shade offering.
Nice. And
they kind of it was one of those cigars, they didn't take it to the show. I smoked it. It's fantastic. I mean, I think you're really going to like this cigar, Paul.
That's awesome.
Yep. So expect to see that in more widespread distribution towards the end of the year.
I smoked the Matilde with the red and the gold. It's the new one.
Press?
The box press one.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was really strong. I thought it was really good, but I thought it was really strong.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, really amped up in strength, but it had good flavor. So
I agree. I think that's the best way I could sum that up.
And in other news, Nomad.
In fact, and he will be coming on the show, I think, sometime in late November. But Fred Rui has released a candela. It's called the GB19, and it is a cigar he's making out of the Fabrica Oveja Negra factory, which is the Black Label Trading Company factory made by James Brown. And it's his first candela. And what's really cool about it is instead of releasing it for St. Patrick's Day, he released it for football season in tribute of his favorite team, which is the Green Bay Packers, which is where Fred is from. I just want to see what he did with candela.
Hey, at least it wasn't the New York Jets. I mean,
at least it wasn't the New York Jets. Yeah. Yeah.
No offense to Jets fans. Well, maybe some. But this one doesn't look really green, though, Will.
No, it doesn't have that. I just said it could be the photo, but it doesn't have that Kermit the Frog green to it.
Yeah.
It almost has like a dill pickle green to it.
Right. Yeah, I know. It's interesting.
Yeah. But I guess there's I heard the Tom Brady cigar, you inflate it and it gets bigger. Is that coming out? So?
Oh, boy.
Busy. Like I said, busy. We'll have more. We'll have more releases, more IPCPR stuff in the next few weeks. So it's been quite a bit. We're kind of digesting over since IPCPR.
Football season makes for good banter between Will and I, and all of our guests and other hosts on the show as well. Because I don't think there's many of us that root for the same team, so it makes for some awesome banter, which is great.
No, it really does. It really does. So it's I just don't think we have both our teams heading to. I mean, I don't think my team's heading to a Super Bowl this year.
My team's always heading to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's gonna be 4-12 season for the Giants. I'm afraid it's.
Oh yeah, I'm all broken up about that. So that is Stogie Geeks news for this week. Make sure you check us out every Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, StogieGeeks.com/live, and catch all the latest cigar news and reviews at cigar-coop.com. Thanks everyone for watching.